And a good morning to you, Ted Langdell. We are back again with a special presentation. This is the Officer Osmar Rodarte presentation, and we are here live at the corner of 8th and D Streets in Marysville, where Marysville has lined up. And the procession is beginning. Down D Street. Officer Rodarte in this white van. With a variety of his officer teammates from a variety of departments. And while we are here at 8th and D Streets in Marysville, we have Eric Jordan down at 2nd and D Street to capture the whole procedure here. Pretty much every Marysville police officer and vehicle. We have helicopters overhead from television news. Sheriff's deputies from Yuba County. This, I believe, is Nick Morozinski, the undersheriff of Yuba County. The entire section of D Street is blocked off. Be able to get you around the stop sign. People lining the streets, law enforcement officers lining the streets. Yolo County Sheriff's vehicles here, honoring an officer who had served about 2 years here in the Marysville Police Department. He graduated from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Academy in 2022, as we understand it, and prior to that had served in the United States Army. He leaves behind children, traffic along Highway 20 and 70 on 9th Street by the lake has been blocked. And this is much longer and has taken more to do in a short period of time than some of the parades that you see on D Street. We're here at the corner of 8th and D. Police from Grass Valley. Yuba City Police at 8th and D. Nevada County Sheriff passing by there.
And people from Marysville.
Honoring Officer Osmar Rodarte. Sorry about the audio quality here. Not much we can do at this point. We will be presenting a special program, In the Line of Duty, coming up later today at a time yet to be scheduled that will honor Officer Rodarte and the local Yuba and Sutter County officers, police and sheriff's deputies who have died in the line of duty. And along with fire trucks. Volusia County Sheriff's vehicles, Chico Police. Auburn, Sacramento County Sheriff. That is the law enforcement training school that Officer Rodarte graduated from about 3 years ago. People lining all of D Street. And and what we would think is the Marysville Fire Department ladder truck bringing up the rear of this procession that will go to Placer County. We've not been told where this procession is going. People lining the streets of Marysville to honor an officer that had served this community for the last 2 years and lost his life serving warrants as part of a task force dealing with what we've been told is a transnational drug importation and distribution ring. Some 20 search warrants were being served in multiple counties at the same time, we gather. Let's go to the news conference that happened yesterday afternoon about 2:30 at the Yuba County Sheriff's Office.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Clint Curry. I'm the district attorney for...
We're going to try improving that audio in just a moment. This is how quickly the community reacted by lowering the flag at 10th and E Streets in Marysville, and also in Linda, actually, at North Beale Road and Lyndhurst Avenue by Walmart and Costco, as they went through and are going through a very, very sad time here in Marysville, remembering Officer Osmar Rodarte. This is a photograph we believe is of him from an Instagram account labeled Osmar Rodarte. This appears to be him in Army garb. And we'll go to that news conference. We've boosted the audio as much as we can, but we'll have better audio coming up in our in our presentation in the line of duty later today, and we'll have more information about that. But let's find out more about what happened yesterday from various law enforcement officials.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Clint Curry. I'm the district attorney for Yuba County. I'm also the current chairman for the Yuba-Sutter Narcotics and Gang Enforcement Task Force, which we call NEP5. And before we get started, I just want to thank a few people for being here. Acting U.S. Attorney Michelle Beckworth, thank you for being here. Sid Patel, Special Agent in charge of the Sacramento FBI office. Bob Barris, Special Agent in charge DEA. Marysville Police Department Chief Sachs. Sutter County Sheriff Brandon Barnes. Yuba City Police Interim Chief Jim Runyon. Wheatland Police Department Chief Brian Whitmer. Chris Branscombe, Marysville Mayor. Thank you all and Sheriff Brandon Barnes from Sutter County. Thank you all for being here on such short notice. So a multi-year investigation by NEP5 culminated today in the service of in Yuba, Sutter, Tehama, and Butte counties. It's important to note about this multi-year operation that the targets, the central suspects in this operation were part of transnational drug trafficking organizations that were moving methamphetamine and deadly fentanyl across the border from Mexico into our state, where it was harming our communities and our children. Tragically, this morning at one of the sites where a search warrant was being served, a Marysville police officer lost his life in the line of duty. And here to tell you more about that is Sheriff Anderson. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, DA Curry. Hi, my name is Wendell Anderson, Yuba County Sheriff. And again, thank you for being here. Sorry I have to sit up here and talk about this senseless tragedy. As DA Curry alluded to, this was a very prolonged investigation that was instigated by our Net 5 team, narcotic enforcement team, and its culmination led to 20 search warrants here in Yuba County, Sutter County, Tehama County, and Butte County. Today, during the service of one of those search warrants, the Yuba-Sutter Regional SWAT team served a search warrant on Kestrel Way. Upon making entry into the house, there was an exchange of gunfire with an individual from inside the house, and one of those operators from the SWAT team was struck and later succumbed to his injuries at Rideout Hospital. The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene, and very preliminary, so very early in this investigation. We'll have more information coming forward in the preceding days. Obviously, this tragedy has just rocked our small community here. Marysville Police Department is a close ally of ours, friends of ours. This operator that was on our team is a very close-knit team comprised of officers from the Yuba City Police Department, the Marysville Police Department, and the Yuba County Sheriff's Department. Don't have a lot more questions or comments at this time. Like I said, it's very early on in the investigation, and we will have more information that we'll release very shortly. Thank you for your time, and again, this is a senseless tragedy. I'd like to introduce Chief Sachs from the Marysville Police Department. Chief.
As you all know, this is a sad day in the city of Marysville. We lost an officer today who was near and dear to our hearts. He was a 2-year veteran with our department, also a U.S. Army veteran. I appreciate the support from all the allied agencies within the region that have come to support us throughout this tragic time and the tragic loss that we have suffered. At this point in time, I'd like to just hope that everybody has their thoughts and prayers for our organization with this officer's family as we just traverse through this tragic incident. And we will have more information probably tomorrow, but we are taking today to be able to honor him and mourn the loss of a loved one, a brother, a father, and just a close friend of ours. So that's all I have for you guys today.
Yeah, and if I could introduce Mayor Branscombe from the Marysville.
I'm Chris Branscombe. I'm mayor here in Marysville. I'd heard about this early this morning, and when I arrived at the hospital, I walked into a room of Marysville police officers with one of our sergeants on a knee saying a prayer for a lost officer. At that moment, I was thinking about a similar tragic moment, and I remember a question being asked, and that question was, how do we find such men and women? Men and women who engage gunfire or walk into burning buildings, all on our behalf. Well, we don't find them. They step forward. They step forward as a central element in their life plan, all on our behalf. And we shall all be grateful. Thank you.
Okay. I know everyone's got a lot of questions. We still have a lot of questions. So it's good to keep in mind there are 2 investigations going on at this point. The first investigation is into the incident that happened at Kestrel Court this morning. And in charge of that is the Yuba-Sutter officer-involved shooting investigation team. Because there was an exchange of gunfire, they will be conducting that investigation. That's led by the chief investigators from the Sutter and Yuba County District Attorney's offices. within the next, I would expect 24 to 48 hours, we should be able to release names regarding that incident. But as far as exactly what happened inside of that house, it'll be probably months before we're able to tell you the whole story of what happened. So I ask for your patience with regard to that as we make sure that we know everything before we put that out. The second investigation is regarding this transnational drug trafficking organization. By the end of the week, I will put out a press release regarding the activity that went on today, the arrests that have been made. I can tell you that even prior to today, hundreds of pounds of methamphetamine had been seized, heroin, fentanyl, and currency. These were major players moving poison through our communities, and we couldn't just sit and watch it happen. We had to do something about it, and it's just tragic, and on all of us would just ask that you be praying for the officer's family and for his law enforcement community that's also grieving today. Thank you. We'll take a few questions. Sir.
We have information that this may be the first service death of a Marysville police officer in like 100 years. Is that accurate? And can you speak at all to the position that this officer held in SWAT and what was his role?
I can't as to the second, and as to the first question, I do believe it's been a very long time, Chief.
That's correct.
That is accurate. It's been over 100 years. Yes, ma'am.
Was the person or persons responsible taken into custody or shot?
The person that we believe shot the officer is deceased.
Was that person shot as well? The suspect in this case, was that person shot and killed, or how did they die?
I believe that person was shot and killed, but again, it's very early in the investigation.
Can you just elaborate a little more about this investigation, the Net 5 group, and the structure of that investigation?
So the Net 5 group has been around since the early 80s, and it is comprised of, there's 3 agencies that fund it, the Sutter and Yuba County Sheriff's Departments and the Yuba City Police Department. And it has officers and deputies from all of those agencies, and they have been in charge of narcotic and gang task force here in Yuba-Sutter for decades and decades. So they work with their federal partners, with the DEA, on major cases, along with BNTIF in Butte County, Colusa County, Yolo, and others that have regional task forces that are focused on narcotics trafficking.
You mentioned an exchange of gunfire inside when this happened. Was there just one suspect inside at that time? Are you able to share that information with us?
There were 2 people in the home, and one of them is deceased, believed to be the suspect that shot the officer, and the other one is considered a witness at this point, but it's very early in the investigation. Yes, ma'am.
Was the officer wearing a bulletproof vest?
I believe so.
Okay, and there were other people that were detained and arrested on scene. Can you talk about who they were?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure about that. Do you have information on that?
I can tell you there was one other individual inside the residence where the search warrant was executed. That person was detained, brought to the Sheriff's Department for questioning, and has since been released.
Okay. And then, so you guys are not releasing names yet of the officer?
Not at this time. We're giving the family time to grieve and make sure that everyone has been notified.
Can anyone share about your young officer? I understand he was a young father. He served the country before he served the streets of Marysville.
Yeah, he was a veteran of our armed services, the Army, I believe. Well-respected, well-liked, was a member of our law enforcement family here in the Yuba-Sutter area.
And sorry, one more question. You said 20 search warrants. Can you, over what geographical area?
Sure. So we had multiple search warrants in Yuba County, Sutter County, Tehama County, and multiple search warrants in Butte County as well.
And these other search warrants were executed generally without any incident? Were there arrests?
It's too early for us to tell. Obviously, we've been focused on our slain officer, and we will follow up in the following days with numbers and stats from those search warrant services.
So to clarify, there were multiple search warrants executed today, not just the one here in
There were 20 search warrants executed today, yes.
Was the suspect from Yuba County?
At this point, as I said, we're still working on identification, notification, and we'll release that information in the following days.
Were the other 19 search warrants today deemed, I guess, successful? No issues with those?
Well, we didn't have any altercations or incidents that I'm aware of at this point. But as I said, we've been focused on this incident, on taking care of our staff, taking care of the family of the slain officer, and we will have that information in the next couple of days.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And that is yesterday's news conference. I'm Ted Langdell, and we are live here at the corner of 8th and D Streets in Marysville, where this procession for Officer Rodarte concluded about 15 minutes ago. And we will be proceeding back to our office to present or to put together a special presentation that we'll have later tonight. Trying to get rid of some of these graphics here. That presentation in the line of duty, Yuba-Sutter Law Enforcement who have died serving the public. We again will be putting that together, and we will note those folks who have put their lives on the line as they have done or did every day, and then were taken from the community in the line of duty. This has been the Officer Rodarte Procession, live from the corner of 8th and D Streets in Marysville. I'm Ted Langdell, and you've been watching a special presentation on Yuba-Sutter.live.
It's the truth that comes through.